Hello friends, if you have watched my most recent revamping my bookshelves video, you will know that we now have these glorious series shelves, which have all of my series that are ongoing, finished. Any book that's part of a series, here is where it lives. And so when I filmed my most recent TBR video, I made it a point to pick a lot of books that were in series because I would like by the end of the year to be up to date with at least 75% of them, because I'm running into the issue, even with interconnected standalones, where like I'm missing out on the excitement of seeing returning characters because it's been so long since I've read the initial book that it doesn't even click in my mind that it is a returning character. So I'm just trying to be more mindful of things and get to my series quicker. So we are in for another installment of continuing series I am in the middle of. And we have 4 books today because I did pick 5 books that were part of a series for my last TBR. And if you don't know, I picked 10 books on a TBR. So half of them were from series. One of them is starting a new series, so I will admit. So in today's video, we are going to start one new series. We are going to be one book further ahead in a series, and we're going to be up to date on 2 series, which is so exciting. Let's go over the ones we're going to be up to date on first. The first one is going to be Chef's Choice by TJ Alexander. This is book 2 in this series. The first one is called Chef's Kiss, which is about a woman and a non-binary, like a bisexual woman and a non-binary character romance set in like a cooking scene. And then this one's fake dating, which is my favorite trope. This says, when Luna O'Shea is unceremoniously fired from her frustrating office job, she tries to count her blessings. She's a proud trans woman who has plenty of friends, a wonderful roommate, and a good life in New York City, but blessings don't pay the bills. Enter Jean-Pierre, a laissez-faire trans man and the heir to a huge culinary empire, which he'll only inherit if he can jump through the hoops his celebrity grandfather has placed in his path. First hoop, he needs a girlfriend, a role that Luna is happy to play. For the right price, she's got rent to pay after all. Second hoop, they both need to learn how to cook a series of elaborate, world-renowned recipes to prove that Jean-Pierre is a worthy heir. Admittedly, Luna doesn't even know how to crack an egg, but she's not gonna let that or any pesky feelings for Jean-Pierre stop her. Another swoon-worthy and heartwarming queer love story from a charming new voice and romance. So I'm very excited about that. We also have 2 purple and 2 blue books, which is so fun. Then we have Dating and Dragons. This is book 2 in the Dungeons and Drama series by Kristy Boyce. This is Quinn Norton is starting over in a new high school and hopes that joining a D&D game will be the trick to making friends. The plan sounds even better when she's invited to a group that includes Logan Weber, the cute, charming guy she met on her first day of class. But this isn't your average D&D campaign. This group live streams their games and enforces strict rules. No phones allowed, no dating other group members. Quinn is willing to accept the rules even if it makes Logan off limits. And she quickly learns that doing so won't be a problem since Logan goes from charismatic to insufferable as soon as she agrees to join. As their bickering and bantering intensifies inside and out the game, Quinn can't help but wondering, is Logan's infuriating behavior a smokescreen for hidden feelings? Quinn is risking it all, and the 20-sided dice are rolling. Which, as somebody who plays D&D, absolutely love this series. So there's that. Then the book that we are going to be one closer to completing is going to be China Rich Girlfriend. I loved reading and the movie Crazy Rich Asians, so I'm excited to continue on with this book. It is the eve of Rachel Chu's wedding, and she should be over the moon. She has a flawless oval-cut diamond, a wedding dress she loves, and a fiancé willing to thwart his meddling relatives and give up one of the biggest fortunes in Asia in order to marry her. Still, Rachel mourns the fact that her birth father, a man she never knew, won't be there to walk her down the aisle. Then, a chance accident reveals his identity. Suddenly, Rachel is drawn into a dizzying world of Shanghai splendor, a world where people attend church in a penthouse, where exotic cars rate down the boulevard, and where rich people aren't just crazy rich, they're China rich. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited to give this one a go. Book 1 followed very closely the movie, and I really loved it. And so this one I'm excited to see like where the story goes after the movie ends. And then we are going to be starting the Windy City series. I have been so excited, and the day that I'm filming this is actually the day that Rewind It Back came out. So I'm like, hello, we need to get to this. I will say that, like, I love the, like, chapter pages. I think they're so fun. They have, like, designs, like an airplane and such. I think they're really cute. But anywho, this is a sports romance series. Xanders. Chicago hockey isn't complete without me. Everyone's favorite player to hate. Also, I know that most people don't like Mile High, but they like the rest of the series. So I'm going to take Mile High with a grain of salt. In fact, I thoroughly enjoy spending the majority of my game time in the penalty box before leaving the arena with a new girl on my arm each night. What I don't like is the new flight attendant on our team's private plane. She works for me, not the other way around. But I'll be sure to remind her of that, and I can guarantee by the end of the season she'll be begging to quit her job. But every road trip blurs the lines, and I can't figure out if I keep pushing that flight attendant's call button in order to push her buttons, or if it's more than that. Stevie. I've been a flight attendant for years. I thought I'd seen it all. But then my job lands me on board working for the most egotistical and self-righteous diva in NHL. I start to second guess everything, including the promise I made to myself of never hooking up with an athlete again, no matter how annoyingly tempting he may be. Evan Xanders is unfiltered, unapologetic, and too attractive for his own good. He loves his image, but I hate everything about it. Everything but him. So this is dual point of view, I believe. Yeah. And I am very excited to give this a go. I'm actually very excited about all of these books. I've been in a romance mood lately. I don't know if it's like the time of the year, but I've been also very disappointed with like every thriller or mystery or horror I've read lately. So I'm excited to have some love in my life. Alrighty, friends. I have started China Rich Girlfriends, and I have thoughts. Okay, this book, the first book did not have footnotes. This book has footnotes, and I loathe it. I hate it. It is taking me out of the story. And I'm not very far. I'm like 10% into this book, and this book's like 500 pages. But basically, it's in all of the same points of views that we got last time. We're getting mixed media, like emails, different like news stories, and basically Rachel and Nick are getting married. He did not invite his family to the wedding. That's drama. And then there's this other storyline. Well, basically an accident, so like somebody's kid gets into an accident, and the person they got into the accident with looks exactly like Rachel, and it's her dad. So interested to see where it goes. I haven't, like I said, I'm probably like 50 pages into this book, so I don't really have a ton to say, but I did start this on audio while I was doing some work stuff today, and I'll definitely finish this over the next couple of days, which I'm looking forward to. We have so many places to film now that we have literally so much bookish backdrop, but we have some talking to do. So I just finished listening to the audio for China Rich Girlfriend. I gave this 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. I did not like it as much as Crazy Rich Asians, but in this book, we're following everybody's like stories. It's kind of a little bit tricky to keep track of like what's going on, because we're like different timelines, different formats. We have footnotes, we have emails. So there was that. I don't love a footnote. I just don't. It's not super for me. It was one of the main reasons I DNF'd Magnolia Parks when I tried to read it. I just could not. But in this, we have our girl Rachel. She and Nick are planning their wedding, as I told you, and a bunch of meddling happens to interfere with this. She finds out she had a brother that she never knew about, and he didn't know about her, and it kind of throws into the wrench of like her biological father's family. And it's all of the crazy rich people drama that this story tends to have, and I absolutely ate it up. I really did like it. I don't want to say too much because I don't want to spoil anything from book 1, and there are some like kind of twists in this. Basically, you know that Rachel's dad was found by Nick's mom, and Nick and his mom are not speaking due to the events of book 1, and she's like eventually gets a hold of him, but like the way she found out about him was due to this car accident, and this car accident is causing lots of drama, and yeah, highly recommend this series. And now we are about to jump into Chef's Choice. I have the audio for this as well. It's a pretty short book. It's only 300-ish pages. I don't know why the audiobook is like 12 hours, but I'm listening to it at 2 to 3 times speed depending. So I'm hoping I can maybe also finish this one today. But book 1 was about our main characters. I don't remember their names. I think one's name was Rachel maybe? I don't know. But book 1 was about a woman and a non-binary person, and they both worked for a food company that was trying to, they do magazines, but they were trying to blend more into social media because magazines are kind of out and social media is in. And though our main girl, Simone I think is her name, doesn't, so Simone's not really the biggest fan of Ray, but eventually they end up falling for each other. Then this book is about Luna, who, if I'm remembering correctly, Luna is Simone's roommate, but I may be incorrect about that. I will update that to you further. But this is about Luna, and she is fired from her office job. She's a proud trans woman who has plenty of friends, a wonderful roommate, and a good life in New York City. Yeah, I think she's the roommate. And then we have Jean-Pierre, who is a trans man and the heir to a huge culinary empire. But he can only inherit that if he jumps through hoops his celebrity chef grandfather has put in his path. First, he needs a girlfriend, so this is going to be some fake dating, which you guys know I love. And they need a girlfriend, learn how to cook, a series of elaborate family recipes. Luna doesn't really know how to even crack an egg, but she's not going to let that stop her. And yeah, it's a heartwarming queer story from a charming new voice in romance. So we're going to go listen to that one. Y'all, I'm listening to this and I'm like 35% in, and the main female character, Luna, just says, wow, there's so much to unpack there. I think I need a bellhop. And that had me dying. Okay guys, we have finished Chef's Choice, and it was so good. It was so good. I really enjoyed this. I gave it 4 stars. As I mentioned, basically we have our Luna and JP. His name is Jean-Pierre, but Luna nicknames him JP, and basically Luna gets fired from her job due to reasons that she can pretty much only narrow down to being discriminated against, and she is kind of pissed and she needs money to, you know, pay her bills, and she, through a series of events, ends up in this situation where this guy JP needs somebody to fake being his girlfriend so that he can get his inheritance, and his girlfriend needs to help him learn all of these family recipes and then make this 9-course meal and present it in Paris for his grandfather. And he's offering to pay her, I think he offers her like $100,000, and she's like, make it $600,000. And he's like, okay. And she's like, okay. So, has fake dating, it has the one bed trope, and it was so cute. And I just love this little duology. I love that it is about queer characters written by a queer author, and I think that these books really deserve more hype. There are some spicy scenes, so if you are a trans person or somebody in the LGBTQ community who doesn't feel like they get representation in that way, this book definitely has it, with 2 trans characters and book 1 with a non-binary character. So I highly recommend this. It's so good. It was so cute, so cute. There were a couple of things that were like a little bit cringe that made it so I couldn't give it the full 5 stars, but I did really like it. And if you are reading it physically, there's like cute little doodles on the chapter headings. Are they all the same? Yeah, with like a coffee and a pretzel. So cute. It was just so cute, and it made me hungry. I kept talking about mac and cheese and charcuterie boards, and I'm like, give it to me. But, so we still have to read Mile High and Dating and Dragons. I don't know which we're going to read next. I've just kind of like reshuffled my reading for the rest of the week, but I will let you know as soon as I know, okay? Okay. Maybe the key to series is just audiobooking them. I am going to listen to hopefully a good portion of this today. I have 2 library cards on Libby, and one of my libraries has unlimited copies of Mile High, so I am going to quickly not quickly. It's like a 17-hour audiobook. But I do listen to it at 3 times speed. Today is the 30th. I'm hoping I can finish this between today and tomorrow so I can count it towards my my May reads. But I am very much looking forward to this. All I know is that it is a sports romance and that everybody doesn't like this one. This is the worst one in the series. Nobody likes it. And that's pretty much all the information that I have about Mile High. I like a sports romance, so I'm quite looking forward to that. I think I'm gonna really enjoy this on audio and while I'm working today. It's only 4 o'clock. I'm probably gonna work for probably like 5 more hours today, so we'll be able to get through a good chunk of the audiobook listening to it at 3 times speed. So, jumping into Mile High, and I'll give you some info, some thoughts and feelings. Maybe I'll check in about halfway because this one is quite long. So when I get to about halfway, I will come check in with you guys. Okay, friends, we are 11% in, but I have thoughts. And so you're coming with me as I begin to prepare supper. Hi, I'm making, if you don't know, I currently reside in Austin, Texas, but I am from upstate New York. And there is a dish from back home called chicken rabies, which is like a paprika cream sauce with peppers and onions and chicken and rigatoni and tomato sauce and blah blah blah. But it's pretty well known back there. And it's what we're preparing for supper for, yeah. Okay. Pretty much don't use a recipe, but I'm gonna get out all my ingredients and then I'm gonna talk to you guys about the situation. I'm gonna put the garlic bread outside so that it can defrost. So I started my ingredients, which is gonna be in the pantry. We need tomato sauce. We need parsley, we need paprika, find that, there it is, paprika, probably gonna use the rest of that actually, probably gonna need to buy more next time I go to the store. I need those, I need bouillon, or chicken bouillon, chicken of course. I personally will not be eating the chicken portion, I'll be picking it out. Bell pepper and onion. I use a lot of peppers and onions because it's my favorite part. Oh, I probably need the noodles too. It's probably a good thing to grab. But let us, one more thing. We also need oil. I'm gonna boil the water for the noodles and start heating up some oil. But basically, the book so far is we have Xander and Stevie. Xander is the main male character and Stevie is the female main character. And Stevie is a flight attendant and Xander is a hockey player. Xander's kind of like, has like this asshole bad boy persona, I guess you could say, where he's not actually like, it's not his real personality, it's just the personality he puts on for the cameras. But only a very select group of people know that he's actually a soft boy. But basically, you know so far that he and his like family don't have a good relationship. His mom's, in his words, a gold digger, and she left their family to marry some rich guy or be with some rich guy, and now she only tries to get in contact with her son when she wants money. So they don't have a relationship, and the dad kind of lost himself in his grief when the mom left, so He doesn't really have a relationship with his father either. He is not very kind. He is very full of himself, and he's in therapy, which we love a man in therapy. But through therapy, he has learned how important it is to be the one to show yourself love, which is very true, but he's doing it to a toxic level where like he's just talking about like fucking bitches and all these different cities, and it's all about the chase and never having to see him again, dot 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 dot. And then I guess they have like a new airplane this season for the team, and typically they have a new flight crew every like away game, but not this season. This season they're having one crew for the whole season, and so they're gonna be stuck with these people, and he's doing everything in his power to make Stevie's life miserable. He'll be like, can you get me this? And it'll be like something this close to him, and he'll be like, can you get that for me? And I am not like, I like a golden retriever boy. I like a sweetie pie boy. I don't like a bad boy. I don't like a he thinks he's too good for everybody type guy. I don't like a cocky guy. So his personality is really rubbing me the wrong way, but I fucking love Stevie so far. Wash your fucking hands if you touch raw meat. If you follow Jessica from Applesauce and ADHD, you know what I'm talking about. But I love Stevie. I also love that she is not, I feel like a lot of romance books, as we all know, fall into this horrible situation where the female main character is just this itty-bitty, tiny, helpless girl who can't do anything because she's just so itty-bitty and little, and he's so big, he's gonna crush her. But they talk extensively about how that's not Stevie. She is plus sized, she is curvy, and they talk about her relationship with her body and how it hasn't always been great. And her mom has made her feel quite ashamed of having a curvier body. She's mixed. And also Xander is a black man. So we love the representation, we love the diverse characters, and we love that she's not so itsy bitsy, which like I say that as somebody who is 4'11". Like I am a small person, but even I am like, oh my god, how many times do we have to mention how small she is? I'm talking to you, Binding 13. That book's like the biggest culprit of it in my opinion. So, but not much has happened. They've had a couple of games. You also learn that Stevie's brother is a professional basketball player. He's an athlete of a different variety, and we're learning some of the other characters who I know, like just based on their names, that they have their own books, which I'm like excited to be able to like learn more about all these different characters and see where the story goes. I know that obviously they're gonna fall in love. It's a romance, so we'll see where the wind takes us. Like halfway through, 52% into Mile High, which is book 1 in this series. And so basically what has happened since I talked to you, basically they've been just continuing this. They like slept together, and it was like, oh, this is gonna be friends with benefits. There's one thing that I fucking loved. Like I typically, while I'm listening to audio, will just like skip through, well, I mean when I'm reading physical, it's easy to just kind of graze over smut. But while I'm listening to it, I don't know when it stops. So one thing I really did like in the spicy scene, Miss Stevie was talking bad about herself and like being insecure because she is insecure about her body. Her mother makes her very insecure about it. And he was like, very much so, like, we're not going to keep going if you're going to talk about yourself that way. Like, no, we're not doing that today. We're not talking bad about ourselves. We're just not doing that. And I just literally loved that. But where I'm at right now, like, they already, like, are hooking up. They're, like, on a date. They, like, both know that they like each other. And I'm just kind of confused how we're only halfway through and they're already kind of together. So I'm not, like, particularly sure what more can happen. But basically, as I said, Xander's, it's his last name. Zeke, I think is, or something like that. I don't know. But Xander's wants to have this, like, bad boy persona. Because basically, when he got hired to the team in Chicago, that's him and one of his, like, rivals were on the same team. And the one guy being, like, the good guy and him being, like, the bad boy persona, like, to bounce off of each other draws a lot of fans in. And this is a contract year, and so he doesn't want to do anything to disrupt that, like, vision that people have of him. But people thinking so negatively of him is affecting his ability to build a relationship with Stevie, because she doesn't want the bad boy. She wants a nice guy, and his reputation scares her. And so it's basically where we're at. She's kind of, like, fighting against her feelings of liking him because she doesn't want to be in the press and be with the bad boy. And yeah, but he's also trying to decide whether he wants to let people know the real him, because he's shown his real self and been rejected by, like, people before, and now he is insecure about that. And yeah, so far it's really good. There's enough, like, fun banter mixed with, like, some more serious talk, which I do quite enjoy. So we live, laugh, love it. And it's probably, so far it's feeling like a 4-star, because I don't like the vibes of him being an asshole to her in the beginning. That's just, like, not something that super works for me, but I'm still really enjoying it. So I'll be excited, because I already own the whole series, so it'd be real tragic if I didn't like it. I also recently was in Dallas, and I had already purchased the last book, The Right Move or whatever. I got it in the mail, but while I was in Dallas at this one half-price books, Liz Tomforde was there. She was there signing books, or doing, like, an event, and, like, I didn't have tickets to the event, but she had, like, a bunch of copies of the book signed. So I swiftly returned my not signed one, and it was cheaper than like the one I bought on Amazon, and it's not supporting Amazon. So there's that. But I will definitely finish this book up tomorrow. I'm about 50% through, I think I said. I think 52% if I'm remembering correctly. I don't love the male audio narrator. His voice is really deep, and it's just not super for me. But I'm on chapter 29, baby. So yeah, this is literally halfway. I'm on, like, around page 240. And this book has 473 pages. Also, I like that it literally says the end at the end. That's so funny to me. But so far, so good. Remember yesterday when I said that this was going to be 4 stars? Well, I lied. Because it's 5 stars, baby. I think I'm going to give this 5 stars, simply. There's this underlying story where, like, Stevie works at, or she volunteers at a dog shelter for old dogs that, like, nobody wants. And I was quite literally tearing up, crying at the end of this regarding the doggo stuff. And so I simply have to give it 5 stars. And I know that this is everybody's least favorite book in this series. Like, the general consensus is this is the worst one out of the 5 books. And if the worst one is 5 stars, what does that say about the rest of them? So I'm freaking hype. I loved it. Live, laugh, love. Amazing. And then tomorrow or the next day, this will be the next book that I start. I have to finish my physical book that I'm currently reading, but then this is going to be my next physical book, and this is Dating and Dragons by Kristy Boyce. This is book 2 in the Dungeons and Dating series, and this is about our main character, Quinn. She is moving to the town where the original book takes place, and she's hoping that joining a D&D group will basically be the trick to helping her make friends, but maybe that's not so true, because Logan's kind of a jerk. But I'm excited as a D&D lover, and I got the I got the Barnes & Noble edition, so like this is shiny and gold, and it's purple instead of blue, and I just love it. And I'm so excited to get started on this. Hey guys, I don't have a huge update for you on this. I've literally read 2 chapters, but I'm already getting 5-star feelings. The thing is I don't read a ton of YA, especially YA romance. I think on my TBR currently, I have maybe 5 YA books, period, that are like unread. And so I don't read them very often. And so when I do, it's like, oh my god, that's so sweet. And I just love the theme of this one. But so far in 2 chapters, we have our main character, Quinn, and she is new to school. On her first day of school, her grandma is driving her to school because they've moved back to like where her grandma lives, and she's so excited that she can drive them to school. It's mid-school year, and she wants to take a picture of Quinn on her first day of school. She is mortified. Her grandma's asking random kids going into the high school, like, oh, can you take my granddaughter's photo with me? These one kids stop, and she notices that this one girl has on like D20 earrings, and she's like, oh my god, maybe we can be friends, da 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 da. And so she was invited to join their D&D group, and that's pretty much all that has happened. But I'm loving it, and it's just giving me like all the vibes that I want. It's 3 o'clock. I need to leave here in like 4-ish hours, 4.5 hours. I might read a little. I also don't feel great because of girly things, but I'm having a nerdy, not D&D but Magic the Gathering night with my friends tonight, and so I just want to rest really until there. I did not sleep well last night. I slept like maybe 5 hours, so I'm kind of pooped, so I think I may take a nap, but if I don't nap, I will read some of this, so we'll see how it goes. Okay guys, we have finished the final book for this video. What did we read in this? I just put away all of my books that I read in May because it's now June. We read Chef's Choice, we read Mile High, and this, right? I thought there was 4 books in this video. Oh, China Rich Girlfriend, okay. We're figuring it out. But I finished Dating and Dragons. So this is a very strange one. I gave it 5 stars. I loved it, okay? We'll start with the good, which is pretty much everything. But I'm a little bit confused because on Goodreads, this says that this is a series. Dating and Dragons, Dungeons and Drama, Dating and Dragons. They look like they go together, whatever. They're not like... in my humble opinion, I'm not Kristy Boyce, I'm not an author. This is not a series that I would ever consider. It is literally 2 YA romances about D&D, but I've read tons and tons and tons of interconnected romances. Literally 80% of this shelf is interconnected romances. There was no interconnection. I thought going into this that either Girly Pop or this dude were going to be members of the D&D group from the first book, Dungeons and Drama, but they weren't. There was no crossover of characters. It's a whole different D&D group, like literally not one single shared character between the books. So I don't know how this is a series other than, you guys don't need to see my closet, other than them just both being YA romances about D&D. But anywho, this is about our girl Quinn. She is new to school. It's her first day, and on her first day of school, her family has moved in to like her younger brother, her mom and her dad have moved to the town that her grandma lives in because her grandma's kind of needing help, as well as Quinn's being bullied by her ex-friends at her old school. So she's starting school in February, and it's literally day 1. Her grandma's so excited to drive her to school, and she's trying to like take pictures with her, and she's just asking various students like, can you take my granddaughter's picture? And she asked this one group of kids, and Quinn notices that the girl is wearing D20 earrings, and she's like, oh, these people might be kind of cool. The guy, Logan, that's his name, yeah. He's super nice, takes the picture, they chat a little, and that's that. Fast forward, she's looking at like the club's bulletin at school, and the girl who had the earrings, her name is Kashfi. She has like a twin brother, I forget his name, but she basically is talking to her, and they're talking about the different clubs, and she's like, oh my god, I love your earrings. And she's like, oh, do you play D&D? And she's like, I used to with like my ex-friends. And we learn about like the situation that happened with her friends and how they kind of kicked her out of the D&D group, whatever. And she's like, well, we're actually looking for another player. It'll be kind of like a trial run because we're kind of intense. And she's like, okay. So she goes to this like thing, which is basically the final session of their current campaign, so that Quinn can observe and see if she wants to join. The catch is that they live stream their sessions, kind of like Critical Role, which they do mention, which is kind of funny, and she just has to know that that's what it's gonna be. And they have all of these rules for the group, like no getting up to go to the bathroom while they're streaming, no side conversations, and absolutely no dating each other. The only issue, Quinn and Logan, they kind of like each other, so they are trying to resist their feelings, and it was very cute. I gave it 5 stars. So literally continuing series, I feel like if you're ever in a slump, continuing a series is the way to go, because this was a 5-star. Mile High was technically starting a series, but whatever. That was also 5 stars, and then Chef's Choice was 4 stars, and China Rich Girlfriend was 4 stars. So this was an amazing vlog. We read so many great books, and yeah, I do hope that they make more, that Kristy makes more D&D romances. Maybe there will be a 3rd one, and it'll have characters from both of the books, and it'll come together as like actually connecting. That would be stellar. That would be amazing. Like maybe they go to like a convention and they all like meet, and then somebody from each D&D group date each other. Kristy, write me up. I think I just made the outline for the next book, baby. But that is everything for today, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.